my name is Vina, aka Miss WOCReader, and welcome welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my October reading wrap-up. October was another month. It was actually worse than September. And so I didn't get a lot of reading done. My reading was very slow and I didn't feel like I was starting to hit my stride until closer to the end of the month. Hopefully, like, we fix things for the month of November. It's looking up a little bit because I started working from home 2 days a week now, which I need that. I like, it's giving me a little bit more time back, which I really appreciate. And it means I have more time for content, more time for reading, and hopefully more time to just relax and get some rest and be able to plan things out better. But yeah, let's get into what I read during the month of October, because at least I was able to get a few things read. The first book that I read during the month was When Javi Dumped Mari by Mia Sosa. So I've read a couple of Mia Sosa books, and while I loved The Worst Best Man, I'm finding that her issue is that she writes around the tropes. Like, she chooses the trope that she's going to center her book around, and she forces it to work even when it doesn't work. Like, there are actual times when she will, on text, have her characters acknowledge that, like, their fake dating scheme or something doesn't work. Like, it's not going to work out, and then they go forward and do it anyway. And then she likes to push, like, pop culture moments in where they don't need to be, and you can usually tell around the time when she started writing a specific book because of that. This book had potential, but I don't think she fully explored it well. So we're following Javi and Mari. They met in college. I don't think that we needed to spend as much time building the college years as we did, which this book does. We start them off in college because they were just friends in college. Like, they met each other, they became friends. Nothing really significant towards their relationship happened in college. But we spent a good amount of time there because she loves a good college moment too. Why, I don't know. But nothing really of importance happened in college. They were just kind of friends who were too afraid to cross the line. Like, this book is about people who were friends who were too afraid to cross the line for reasons I really didn't understand. And so nothing really significant happens until adulthood. We just kind of see them be friends, and then Javi ends up meeting Mari's dad, who doesn't feel like he's good enough. And Javi was just very directionless. Like, it was hard to root for him because I'm like, get some goals. Like, she's very ambitious, and then you're too afraid to do anything and take any risks. He's been writing this play forever, hoping that one day it can be a big Broadway play, but he just, like, refuses to actually work on the writing aspect of it. So we're following them through that over the years. They stop talking to each other for a little while, then start reconnecting again, and then they start having all these feelings all over again for each other. They, over the years, they had made a pact, like, oh, if I'm dating somebody, you kind of have to vet them for me. So we see that happen. In the present day, Mari is engaged to this man, and to be honest, the way the book is written, you forget that she's engaged to this man. We don't even see them on page together much, and it just felt so out of character for how they established her in the past, for her to even go, like, become engaged to this man. And the whole setup is just so that Javi can swoop in as the one. But again, I didn't think that Javi was, like, anything worth, like, wild. I thought they had good enough chemistry, but I just couldn't see them fully lasting as a couple, like, really weathering the storm, because they didn't have good communication skills despite being friends. And that's one of the things that I like about friends to lovers, like, that they have that relationship where they can communicate and lean on each other, and that wasn't really happening here. So overall, this was an okay read. I don't know if I'm going to read her next one. Well, her next one coming up I already read, like it was when it was on Audible, but I'm not sure if I'm going to read her next one after that, because right now it just feels like she's kind of in a rut and everything she's writing is very samey and trope heavy, and I want a little bit more. This is Beasts of Carnival by Rosalia Rodrigo. I have been saying I need to read this for like 3 months now, so thankfully I finally read it in October. And it aligned perfectly because of Latin American Heritage Month. So I actually had a lot of Latin American reads back to back. Proud of myself there. But I was intrigued to read this because of the carnival aspect. I had never seen a fantasy that was based off of carnival in Puerto Rico, and that's basically all this book was. Like, it was a fantasy world inspired by Puerto Rico during colonialism, and everybody was trying to reclaim their roots through tradition and art. And I understand everything that she was trying to say. Like, I appreciate the author's note, it did hit, but I feel like the story in and of itself did not have much of a purpose. Like, there was no goal that they were working towards. Sure, we start the book by following Sophia. She's a freed woman. She is on the hunt for her brother. They end up going to Carnival, and everything is just so entrancing, very visually beautiful. The author does a great job putting you into that atmosphere. And as she meets her brother, then she's whisked away to this island with these traditional like people, and starts reconnecting with her roots. But everything just moved slowly from there, and I don't feel like we needed the book to be as long as it was. This could have been like a novella, but also nothing was really happening of significance. So I said we needed something to be like a goal they were working towards, or like an enemy they were trying to defeat, and there was not that here. So unfortunately, I ended up not really loving this one. I read the 5th book in the magic order, well, like the 5th bind up, and I actually liked this one the least. I found the plot to be kind of boring. So we're back again, with the order. So much has happened during this series, and I just felt like, oh, we're fighting another big bad. And the art was a little bit off in this bind up compared to previous issues. I didn't love how the art was. Like, sometimes I couldn't even recognize Cordelia when she was on page, just because the art looked very different. And the plot just, it really didn't stick with me for this one. So unfortunately, this one was a miss. This is The School for Unusual Magic, The Winter Frost by Liz Montague. I enjoyed this one so much. Like, I actually think I might have enjoyed it more than book 1. So this is a magic school series. We're following 3 characters, and sometimes following multiple POVs can be a little rough, especially since we are like with a shorter page space here. But I actually thought that she did it very well, because you have Lav and you have Rose, and they're on land, while you have Amethyst, who is in the underworld, like the underwater world. And basically most of the story centers around Amethyst. She is searching for her mother, who stole this illegal wand, and it leads her to this big plot with the merfolk's leader Frost, who is trying to start this civil war between landwalkers and the merfolk. And I thought that she did a good job just showing us the land perspective from Lav and Rose, but then also showing us like what was happening with the merfolk, with Amethyst. And there were secrets coming out. It was very fast paced, and I think this is a great beginner series for younger children who have moved on to chapter books and are starting to dip their toe into middle grade, specifically middle grade fantasy, and they want to start with a magic school series. Like, I felt like this plot was pretty unique compared to the other ones, Like, it didn't just feel like a Harry Potter ripoff, and it didn't feel like it was trying to be these other series. It was quick, it was funny, and overall I had a good time, and I look forward to book 3. And then I ended the month with There's Pumpkin About You by Athena Carstairs. I had heard about this book a while back, but then I was seeing everybody have it on their TBR for fall because of the cute, you know, fall vibes and cover. I will say that the author did a job at first building the fall vibes. Like, she did that really well. Like, she put in all the fall stuff that you would see on TikTok and Instagram and Pinterest. When it came to the story, that was where she struggled, because she is from the UK and she tried to set this book in the US, and the way that she wrote it, I don't think she knows much about the US, and I think she was just basing it off of vibes. Like, small towns in the US are very different from small towns in the UK. The US is a vast place. This never actually said what part of the US it was set in, which was crazy to me, because the Northeast is not the Midwest, is not the Pacific Northwest, is not the South. So she needed to actually set it in a better place. Like, it was just a small town around other small towns connected by a river. And this particular small town, we're following Ren. She is a party planner in a small town, and she is planning her best friend Oakley's 30th birthday. I hated the name Oakley so much. So she's planning this party, and for some reason decides that this pumpkin farm is the best place to have it. Kind of like goes into this pumpkin farm, gets bit by a goat, has a little bit of a tussle with the owner, who just like cusses her out upon meeting her, which I also didn't love because that's our love interest, Gus. Gus is autistic, which he tells her right away, and I feel like his autism was used as an excuse for him to be an asshole, to the point where I had to actually sit down and talk to my friend who works with autistic children all the time, as I'm like, I don't know, I get weird vibes from this book, and I don't feel like I know enough about autism to fully speak on it. And we were just having a good conversation about autism, because at one point the author has them talking about masking. He's not masking here. He is very open about his autism. He's not hiding it. So like, there was a whole long conversation about how he has to, he's masking to the world, and I'm just like, but he's not though. Everybody knows he's autistic. Everybody in the town knows he's autistic, like, because he grew up there, yet none of them are understanding about his needs, which was a little off to me because he grew up in this small town. And at the same time, Ren is black. So if this small town is not accepting of this gorgeous white autistic man, I'm like, how would they accept her as a black woman? But like, race never came up. I couldn't even find the word black in this book, and she never had any problems with that, which was so off to me, because I'm like, that's not how we are in the US, like, at all. Like, that was weird to me, and like made me feel a little bit disconnected to the story too. I don't feel like we got to know her well, because she was a party planner who wasn't really doing no party planning. Like, the barn and the farm in general just need a lot of cleanup, and Gus and his brother do not have the money to fix it. And she's like, oh, it's fine, I can call in some favors and get this fixed for her. Like, she was able to get so much free labor done, which didn't make any sense to me, because I'm like, these other people are small town business owners too. They can't just be giving away this work for free. Like, this wasn't even for a charity event. This was for somebody's birthday. And basically, Ren is using this party planning as an excuse to be up under Gus. They bicker all the time like school children, and it's not cute at all. It's not cute. again, he uses his autism to be rude and nasty. So like, he would say stuff to you like, your shoes suck. Or like, he commented on her weight before. He basically called her a bitch at one point, which I did not like. Like, it's really hard to like roll that back and make your male love interest palatable after that. Like, there was this one scene, oh my gosh, where he was like cussing out his father. That was really unattractive. Like, he had to get blackout drunk a couple of times just to admit his feelings for Ren. Like, it was very toxic, actually. I did not appreciate it. I did not like how autism was intertwined with this enemies to lovers / grumpy sunshine plot, because they tried to make it grumpy sunshine, but like, Ren wasn't sunshine. He was grumpy. Well, I don't like to call rude grumpy, but Ren was not sunshine. She was like just as nasty as him in different ways. And I feel like it would have been better if we got more insight to her as a person and her family and stuff. But all I know is that she loves her fall vibe and she loves her some Kofi. The town, like I said, wasn't really endearing like I would expect it to be in this type of story. So that wasn't good. Overall, this one was a struggle bus to finish, and I really ended up disliking it, which was crazy because I feel like I started off liking it well enough in the beginning and it just quickly went downhill. And I don't think I would read anything from this author anytime soon. So that's everything that I read during the month of October. Let me know if you read any of these or if any of these were on your TBR. If you like this video, make sure and hit that like button. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!